Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing now is transferring this rough sketch to graph sheet. Alright, so I'm just going to slide this over there. And remember again, we are using the information from the table where the frequency is representing the height of the bars on the histogram, and what we're actually plotting against each other, frequency against the class boundaries here. Now, on the graph sheet, let me just put this here. On the graph sheet in front of me, I'm actually using a scale of 2 centimeters to represent, and remember that the classes that we're dealing with involve height. So on the horizontal axis or x-axis, we're dealing with height in centimeter. So the scale I'm using is on the x-axis for every 2 centimeter. All right, for every 2 centimeter, that's 1, that's 2. I'm going up by 5 centimeters. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. And of course, this will be 45 here. And on the vertical axis, which is labeled frequency, remember when it comes on to histogram, the frequency is to be labeled on the vertical axis or the y-axis. And I'm actually using a scale of 1 centimeter to represent 1 plant. So for every 1 centimeter, I'm going up by 1 unit. So all I need to do now is to get this linked on the graph sheet and get our bars established. So quickly. So first one is 3. So I'm just going to indicate that 3 right there. All right. Just for emphasis, you don't need to put that in there. So we're working with 9.5 to 14.5. All right. 9.5 to 14.5. So we need to locate 9.5 and 14.5. Now, if you look here, if this is 0 and this is 5, remember? 0, 5, that means I'm counting by 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the 0.5s are in between, which is easier for us to locate now. So 9.5 would be here. That's 9.5 there. This would be 9.5. And 14.5 would be here. Because this is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 14.5 would be here. And that bar has a height of 3. So it's actually going to go up to, let me just get this correct. It's actually going to go up to this height. So just follow the lines with the 0.5 and get that bar drawn. All right, so I'm just going to quickly draw that bar. And remember, based on the amount of classes that we have, that dictates how many bars we're going to have. All right, so we're just quickly going to draw this bar here. So this is the first one done. The next one says the height of the bar is 8, and we're using these class boundaries here. Now we've already found one here, so we need to find out 19.5, which is here, and that height goes up to 8. So all I'm going to do is follow this line up to 8, which is here, and similarly follow this line 8. So I'm just going to extend this line. The histogram is a far more easier graph to do than the cumulative frequency curve, obviously. All right, so this is a lot less technical, so to speak. So we're going to get this out of the way. Good. All right, so we're here now. The height of the bar is 17, and we're working with that class boundary, or those class boundaries. So 24.5 would be here, and we're going up all the way to 17, which is right here. All right, so 24.5 would also be here. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly get this drawn. All right. The pencil that I'm using is more for art, but it's brighter, that's why I'm using it, but it has a tendency to be messier. What you want is a regular number 2 pencil or HP pencil. This one is just a little bit messy for graph work, but I'm using it because I want you to better see the bars in the video. So this goes up to 17 right there. All right, so far we have this done, this done, this done. So we have 2 more bars left and then we'll be finished. All right. So the height of this bar is 6 and 6 is here. And the class boundary are 24.5, which you already have here, and 29.5. 29.5 is between 29 and 30, that would be here. And that is going up to 6, which is right there. So quickly. Do that. Coming across here. And that is that. And the last one that we need to do now is a height of 1, which is this. And it goes from 29.5 to 34.5. And 34.5 is between 34 and 35. And we're simply going up to 1. So this will be the last bar that we're going to draw for the histogram for this particular data. And that will be that. All right. Now, that will be your histogram. Now, what we want to establish now is the bar that represents the model class. Now, the highest bar here would be the bar that represents the model class. Now, what we want to do is to show you how we use this bar to get the mode, which is really an estimate, right? Even when you're doing the cumulative frequency curve, when we're finding the median from the middle value going across the curve and down, it's really an estimate, right? So it's the same thing here. I'm going to show you now how we determine the mode of the data, all right? So, seeing that we have the highest bar here, I'm just going to point out the corners. So I'm just using this marker for emphasis. You don't need to do that, obviously. All right, so this is going to be a little bit bright. You don't want to do that, really, all right? But for emphasis, as a matter of fact, I get away doing it with, I kind of want it to stand out, so that's why I'm using a marker, but of course you're going to use a pencil, but I'm just doing this for emphasis with the marker, all right? So is a pencil is what you should use, all right? So I'm just going to come across here and connect these 2 points, all right? Again, please use a pencil, not a marker, all right? And where the 2 lines intersect now, I'm simply going to ensure that I draw a vertical line from the intersection and go down. Alright? So if I can get it as accurate as possible. Had it been a pencil, it would have been a little bit more better to establish, so to speak, but alright. Let's just do this. The important thing is that I want you to see clearly on the video what I'm doing here. So I'm kind of elaborating the lines, which is not what you want to do when you're actually doing graph work. What you actually want to do is to get a pencil and just take your time and get the thing done. All right, so if it lands here, this will be 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Let me go again. 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So this is 20. 21, this is 22, so 21.5. So this value here would actually represent the mode, which is 21.5 centimeter. All right, so that is how you determine the mode, because this bar here represents the modal class. So it's important for you to see that. All right, now that is the histogram essentially. Now I'm going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. So I'm just going to remove this out here because I want you to be focusing clearly. Now what I'm going to do is show you clearly using the histogram how we get this guy. So I'm just going to write it here so it stands out. All right, how we get the frequency polygon. So we can use the histogram to get the frequency polygon. Now, it's very easy when you have the histogram, all right? And you can even do it obviously without the histogram on the paper, but I'm just going to show you how easily that is done. So I'm just going to, even though the focus is histogram, because it's so easy to get the frequency polygon once you have the histogram, I'm just going to show you how to get the frequency polygon from the histogram, all right? And again, I'm just going to use this marker here for emphasis. just so you can see clearly what I'm doing. Okay, now to get the frequency polygon using the histogram, all you have to do is locate the midpoint of each bar, the top of each bar. So locate the midpoint at the top of each bar. That's what you need to do first of all. So we need to find the midpoint. So let me use a pencil first of all. So let's take a look at this. All right, so what we have here is 10, sorry, this is a bit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in between that would be actually 2.5. So even though this is 9.5, and I'm just counting the lines as it is. So if I made a step, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would be 2.5. So it would be 1, 2, and 2.5 to find the exact midpoint of this bar. So I'm highlighting the midpoint of the bar there. All right. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at the midpoint at the top of each bar. So again, 1, 2, this will be 2.5. So that's the midpoint of that bar. Same thing here. We can come here as well. 1, 2, midpoint will be here. All right. 1, 2, midpoint will be here. 1, 2, midpoint will be here. Now, I found the midpoints of the bars, right? Now, the next part is going to be a little bit tricky. Let me use this for emphasis. All right, so it stands out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join the midpoints together, but there's something important that's going to come up afterwards. So please pay attention. So what I'm simply going to do is connect the midpoints of the bars, just like this, using, of course, a pencil. Everything you're doing, you're using a pencil. I'm just using the markers for emphasis, all right, on the graph sheet. All right, so we're just connecting the midpoints of each bar, top of each bar. What I'm doing here in green is called the frequency polygon. Very, very easy to get if you have the histogram already. If you don't have the histogram, just find the midpoint of the classes and you're good to go. All right. Now, if you do that, if you had a paper to and you do that, and you did that, that would be incomplete because the frequency polygon must touch the horizontal axis. And this is what we do now to determine where it touches the horizontal axis. Very, very simple. So I'm going to come back to here. All right. Remember, we're plotting cumulative frequency against the class boundaries to get this. Now, in order to get the frequency polygon to touch the horizontal axis, what we're going to do is generate two imaginary classes. So my question is this: what would be the class above this one? So it's 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. It will be 5, 19, you have 34, 29, 24, 19, 14 is decreasing by 5 going down, right? So this would give you 9, if you can see that clearly. All right, 34, 29 plus 5 is 34, 24 plus 5 is 29, 19 plus 5 is 24, 14 plus 5 is 19, and 9 plus 5 is 14. So we have an imaginary class here, 5 to 9. So the class boundaries would be 4.5 to 9.5. So in order to get the frequency polygon to touch the axis, now we have to use this imaginary class and find the midpoint of that class. So 4.5 would be here, and 9.5 would be here. So again we go 1, 2, 2.5. So right here is where this line here will touch the horizontal axis. So I'm just going to take this ruler and just connect it to the horizontal axis here. So I'm almost finished now. I just need to find a way to get this to touch on this side. So I have to generate another imaginary class over here now. So how am I going to do that? So looking at this now, I need an imaginary class down here. All right, so this will be 35 to 39, and I need to establish a class boundaries for this imaginary class. That would be 34.5 to 39.5. So coming back to the graph, This is 34.5, and this here would be 39.5. So we just count 1, 2, and 2.5. So this is where the frequency polygon would touch the horizontal axis. So I'm just going to take the ruler and just make the final connection, because the frequency polygon must touch the horizontal axis. So what I just did a while ago was to just essentially put two graphs on one graph sheet. All right, the frequency, the histogram obviously would be the bars, and that would be completed. The only thing they really ask you about histogram is to determine the mode, which we did with the blue line and come down here. Now the green is simply the frequency polygon, which I'm just showing you how you can get easily from the histogram. And if you didn't have the histogram on the paper, you would just look at the class boundaries and find the midpoint, and that is where the points would be for the frequency polygon. And of course, to get it to touch the horizontal axis, just create an imaginary class above this one, get the class boundary, find the midpoint, it will touch here, generate an imaginary class below this one, class boundaries will be established, find the midpoint, and then get the frequency polygon to touch there. So this graph sheet is actually showing you the histogram and how you use the histogram to get the mode, which is the blue lines intersecting and they go down here. And then I'm just showing you, giving you broader, so to speak, how to find the frequency polygon using the histogram. All we did was to find the midpoints of the bars, connect them, and then to get the frequency polygon to touch the x-axis, generate imaginary classes to the left, imaginary class to the right of the last bar, first bar and last bar, and then find the midpoint of those classes and get the frequency polygon to come down and touch the x-axis. All right, I hope you guys found this video insightful, and I'll see you guys on the next video.